Hey, what's going on, guys? Kalamazi here. It's going to be my War Within pre-patch Demonology Warlock DPS guide. In it, we're going to be covering tier sets, single target talents, AOE talents, rotations, single target AOE, and basically anything you need to know about Demonology Warlock heading into pre-patch and War Within. If you guys see any weak wars add-ons you want in the video, including the central weak war, which is going to work, it's available now in the Wago, but I wouldn't get it until pre-patch drops. Links to my Twitch and Discord down below are over free for you guys. Now, a couple things before we get too far in the video. Number one, it's over here as well. The MMO Awards voting ends in about 2 weeks. If you guys are interested in voting for me or really anybody in general, we've been nominated for Content Creator of the Year for the MMO Awards. Should be a link down below in the description, or just MMOawards.com if you want to. Whether you vote for me or somebody else, just vote in general because, hey, you know, there's a lot of awesome creators up there. And number two, if you guys are looking for the War Within beta spreadsheet, it's indeed now live on Patreon for early access if you want it. The tier 3 Felguard rank or higher, it will indeed go public before the expansion launches, but in general, if you want early access to that for War Within stuff and all that, well, yeah, link to that down below as well. With that being said, let's get into it looking at tier sets. Alrighty, so I just realized that PTR for pre-patch is down, so we're going to be on beta here looking at talents and tier sets and all that, but thankfully this is a copy character I made day one, and it still works. So as far as the Demonology's tier set is concerned in pre-patch, tier sets do indeed appear to be enabled still, which means you're going to have your Demonic Core Doom brand tier bonus, which in AoE is good, single target is good, and when it comes to actually your 4-piece, it does indeed still spawn the Doom Guard. Now, this Doom Guard does cast Shadow Bolt volleys. It'll do a single Shadow Bolt and single target. It'll do AoE volleys, like multiple Shadow Bolts on AoE. And it does indeed stack with Doom and Pact of the Aerodrone. You can literally have Doom, which is applied by casting a Demonic Core, essentially the exact same functionality as this, at least as far as applications are concerned. You could have this Doom Guard and this Doom Guard literally active at the same time if you want. It will indeed apply two different Dooms. This applies Doom when you cast a bolt. This applies Doom brand when you cast a bolt. They're both active simultaneously. I've had both Doom Guards active at the same time, but this Doom Guard here, AoE Shadow Bolts, it's better essentially in the talent. This one only casts single target Doom Bolts, Shadow Bolts, whatever, so on and so forth. Either way, both are still good, and if you enjoy the tier bonus from S3 and S4, it does indeed currently still work in pre-patch as far as tier sets are concerned. If anything changes, I'll update you guys later on in the description, but it looks to be working. Same thing from S3 and S4, and it should be a lot of fun having multiple Doom Guards running around in Mythic Plus, in raiding, wherever you're at. If it works for leveling, it's going to be really fun too, because who doesn't love multiple Doom Guards? All right, now very briefly, I do want to hit on stat weights here before we get into the actual talent builds. This is simming what is, spoilers ahead, currently the highest single target build for Demonology Warlock in pre-patch. Things have shifted a bit more back towards haste and mastery. Once again, I always highly encourage you to run your own sims whenever Raidbot's up to date for pre-patch and all that, because your gear may vary from mine, vary from this gear, so on and so forth. If you don't want to, you can follow this general priority, but you're probably leaving damage on the table if you don't want to run your own sims and figure all that out. Then again, it's pre-patch, so honestly, you know, who really cares? But that is that. So getting into actual game here, looking at talent builds, we're gonna go full screen for this also. So I'm gonna show you 3 different builds here. We're gonna start off playing the, I guess, showing you the single target build of Demonology for pre-patch, and this is probably gonna be pretty similar to what we see actually in War Within, depending on what hero talents do whenever they unlock for us. Now, we're playing here at the top. All Warlock specs, Demo, Destro, Af, have a talent into their AOE talents to get further into the tree. Now, thankfully, you really pretty much can get whatever you want regardless, like in single target and AOE by doing so it's not that big of a deal. But you are indeed heading into Implosion, Dreadstalkers, Spiteful Reconstitution, over Imp Gang Boss for pathing here into Soul Strike, Carnivorous, Demonic Strength, Wicked Maw, so on and so forth. Pretty similar things we've been playing for a long time. You have Sack Souls here, Rune of Shadows, Imperator, Fel Invocation, Anilian Training, down here into Power Siphon, Tyrant, and Grimoire Felguard. Now, Grimoire is a 2-minute cooldown in pre-patch and War Within. Tyrant is a baseline 1-minute cooldown. Vile Fiend is a baseline half-minute cooldown, which basically becomes a purple or red dog, depending on what you're doing. Now, backtracking a bit here, other talents along the way, we have things like this right here, Expendables. We have Reign of Tyranny, buffing our Felguard a bit. We have Demonic Calling, Dread Calling, and Tauren Armaments. And then the bottom of the tree here being filled out with Vile Fiend, Foul Mouth, Shadow Touched, Red Dog in single target, due to how it scales with haste and how often it attacks compared to Purple Dog, is actually better in single target, and Houndmaster's Gambit. Now, the final few points here are actually being spent in Doom. Doom into Impending Doom into Pact of the Aerodrone. This is bugged currently on beta. We'll see if it's bugged when pre-patch goes live. It's not spawning you an imp, but it is, I believe, giving you the damage bonus. And this looks to be the best overall build in single target for Demonology heading into pre-patch. Now, like I mentioned in the start of the video, the tier set section, this Doom talent does indeed work with Doom brand, your tier bonus as well. You're going to have Doom, which is this, active with Doom brand, your tier bonus at the same time, simultaneously whenever you cast a Demonic Core, a Doom Bolt, so on and so forth. This guy only casts single target Doom Bolts. Your Doom brand based pet from your tier set will cast volleys or straight up single target ones if you're in a patchwork setting. And once again, links to all these builds down below if you want them. Now, like I mentioned, a lot of these builds here have baseline cleave elements built into them. You have Implosion, you have obviously Dogs, Demonic Strength, so on and so forth. If you want a bit more cleave, you can shift things a bit to a single target cleave build, which changes a few talent points, Imperator, Sack Souls, and I believe I pulled, Doomguard here for Fell Asunder, Shadow Invocation, and Dreadlash. Fights where you have ads spawning every so often, maybe like Gnarl Root and Mirrodicil, or other stat cleave fights every so often where you want single target elements, but some cleave elements as well. This would not be a bad idea. If you want a bit more single target, you can take a point out of here and put it into Sack Souls and take maybe this point here and throw it up here in Imperator again. So it's customizable to how much AoE you want with how much single targets you want to. Very customizable. Either way, even the baseline profile playing the pure single target version has pretty good cleave if need be. Now, when it comes, also not playing Pact of the Aerodrone here because it is single target based. Forgot to mention that. When it comes to Mythic Plus and AoE builds, this is where I've sort of been within reason on beta. I'm not a huge fan of Guillotine personally. It will be a gain, but it's just not like incredibly impactful to me. But you know, it is worthwhile and overall a gain. Besides that, not a whole lot changes from the actual single target cleave build here, right? I mean, here's the cleave build we were looking at. You're taking a point out of here and here. No Reign of Tyranny, no Dread Calling. You're moving them just right down here into Improved Tactics and into Guillotine. And bam, there is your AoE build. Fire Dog here as well. Fire Dog everywhere. Everything's the same. Once again, not playing Pact of the Aerodrone because, unfortunately, he does not have any cleave-based elements like our tier bonus does. But regardless, the builds are very similar. They have the single target elements, the AoE elements, and they play very similar to retail as well. But let me show you how they play actually in both single target and AoE right here. Now, starting off with the single target opener rotation for Demonology here, we're once again playing the single target build here. Keep in mind your Tyrant baseline 1 minute, your Vile Fiend or Dogs here baseline half a minute. So that means you can cast. Every Tyrant will have a Vile Fiend or a Dog in it. You can cast one Dog or Fahad Katu between every Tyrant. Half minute, minute. Makes sense. Grimoire is 2 minutes, so every Tyrant will have a Dog in it. Every other one will have a Grimoire in it. So the big Tyrant, small Tyrant sequencing is sort of back based on how it was back in the day. You also want to have a set of College Dreadstalkers in every Tyrant, and it's pretty similar. Now, the big change here rotationally is that Dogs don't guarantee you Demonic Cores whenever they expire anymore. It's a lower chance, 35% per Dog. It's not very fun to play rotationally when you get bad RNG. I've been trying to hold my Power Siphons for my Tyrant setups if I don't have a lot of cores coming in. You can feel it out a bit. If you have a lot of cores coming in, maybe you can just say, hey, I'll siphon early or siphon late, but either way, to guarantee consistency, that's what I've been doing. Now, as far as the opener goes, it's pretty similar to what you've been doing for a long time. We're going to wait for 2 imps to spawn here. We're going to precast Power Siphon. We're going into the boss here. Going to precast a Shadow Bolt here. Pet's going to run in. We're going to cast Grimoire Felguard. Bolt to 5 shards again. Cast Fire Dog. Bolt to 5 again. Cast Call Dreadstalkers. I'm going to Demon Bolt, which will also apply Doom, which is right there. Hand. Demon Bolt. Hand. And one more time here. Cast Tyrant. Potions, whatever you want. If you're playing 9, you pop it here, Trinket pop it here, and then you cast Demonic Strength and go from there. And besides that, what you're really looking to do is just cast 3-shard Hand of Gul'dans. We're going to cast our Dogs on cooldown, Dreadstalkers right here, casting that. I can Siphon here, basically free because I have no Tyrant coming up for 45 here, and I'm have Siphon again quickly. Casting Charhound again here. This is the dog between each tyrant. You want to cast him on cooldown because not only is he a lot of your damage, he also buffs your Dreadstalkers whenever he's active through Houndmaster's Gambit. So very important to be tight with his cast time. Get him on cooldown as fast as possible. And know, all right, the next one here in about 15 seconds is going to be part of my tyrant setup. So keep casting 3 Shard Hands here. Cast a Bolt here to reapply, well, I guess chomp into Doom here. Build the 5 shards here. So I know I have tyrant set up in about 10 seconds here. So I'm going to cast one final hand. Going to build the 5 here. Going to go Red Dog, Shadow Bolt, cast Dreadstalkers, and go hand, Demon Bolt, hand, Demon Bolt. One final hand to Gul'dan, why not? Cast Tyrant, cast Demonic Strength, and there you go. That's Demonology. You got a Tyrant right there with a Charhound in it, a set of called Dreadstalkers. That's basically that. The next Tyrant after this will indeed be the larger one again, casting Dogs on cooldown here. It'll be the Grimoire based Tyrant, which I'm not going to show here, but it's the same rotation as the opener basically. Just go from there and casting your Charhound on cooldown here as well. Now, one big thing to talk about here also is that they've changed the way that Tyrant works in War Within, where, I mean, in a sense, right? They didn't really change it, but Reign of Tyranny allows you to get 5 extra imps in your Tyrant extension. Normally it's 10, so you can get 10 in your Tyrant max. If you have 12 active when you cast him, he extends 10, that's it. When you're playing Reign of Tyranny, which is now easy to access, it makes that number 15, which is a pretty high number to get. Sort of hard to do without playing things like Pact of the Imp Mother and such, but there are times with good refunds you can get more than 10, depending on the remaining time of your pets, which I have a weak Aura for here at Tracks of Duration as well as here. So you want to try and squeeze as many imps into your Tyrant setup as possible, but you don't want to lose your Charhound. You don't want to lose your Grimoire. You don't want to lose your Dreadstalker set either. So it's finding the balance there. But if you're new to the class and not really haven't played it a whole lot, 9 imps, 10 imps is more than fine and typically pretty easy to do. Now, when it comes to Demonology, AOE, Mythic Plus, so on and so forth, the build looks like this. Very similar to what we saw a minute ago, but a bit more of an AOE element with Doom and Doom brand spreading. Now, Doom is this talent right here. Whenever it pops or runs out, it explodes, basically, it AOEs on different mobs around it. Doom brand is your tier set, which is indeed still working in pre-patch. So there's still that Doom brand spreading kind of playstyle with the Implosion rotation playstyle and just general AOE elements, right? Now, as mentioned, I am indeed playing Guillotine in this build. Not a huge fan of it, but the pathing's a bit different, and I think it's fine AOE. We are not playing Pack of the Iridrum. We're playing Shadow Invocation, other AOE elements like Belsunder, so on and so forth. So we're going to open up here. Say we're heading into Trash Pack and Plus. We have some cores here, whatever. It'll vary a bit depending on what you're doing, but this is, a general opener. We're going to, build the 5 shards here, 4-ish, cast my Grimoire. He's heading in. Cast my dog here. This is the Fire Dog. Is an AOE. I'll cast my Dreadstalkers, cast a Demon Bolt, Hand of Gul'dan, Demon Bolt, a different target to brand both here. Hand of Gul'dan, one final time. Tyrant, trinkets if you have it, like Naimu here. Pop your Demonic Strength, and then just begin, casting Shadow Bolt and building resources. Cast Guillotine here on cooldown. This Doom is going to expire in a minute here. Now, I'm not imploding yet because I'm under Tyrant, which extended all my imps, right? Whenever he expires, right about now, I will then implode all these imps. And you can see it in the imp weak aura I have right here, showing them being grayed out when they're extended, and when they're not, it shows that they're expiring like this naturally, and that's when I can implode. Casting Fire Dog on cooldown here is going to run in an AoE. And besides this, what you're really doing here is just spreading dooms by hitting different mobs here. There's Doom and Doom brand, targeting this, Doom and Doom brand, going here, Doom and Doom brand. They keep popping to do AoE damage, casting dogs on cooldown here, and imploding. Now, when it comes to imploding, it's one of your main sources of AoE, and most end up following an implosion rotation-esque style of play, where you want to implode 6 or more imps. Like right now, essentially, I have 3 imps, Hand of Gul'dan, 6 imps, Hand of Gul'dan, 9 imps. I can tell right here these imps are going to expire in a second, so I'm going to implode. The general rule is to build as many imps as you can. Build as many imps as you can, and then basically before they expire, you want to implode, which is why having a weak aura like this, it shows their remaining cast, which is this number right here, their remaining duration, and total number of imps right here is important comparatively. Just looking at your button here, it shows, okay, I have, 1 imp out. Now I have 2, I hand, now I have 5. I have no idea when they're going to expire, how much energy they have left, so on and so forth. But if you want to follow the implosion rotation in AoE, once again, if you have demonic cores, depending on what you have here, it changes how you build imps a bit. You still just cast Hand of Gul'dan, Bolt, Hand, Bolt again, apply some Doom brand, so on and so forth. Cast a hand. Cool. Now I know I have about 2 seconds to implode here where they expire, so I'm going to implode now, and they're expiring. Bam. There's 10 imps. that's basically it. Besides that, you're casting your Dreadstalkers on cooldown for the most part, trying to implode when they have the debuff here, Wicked Maw active for increased implosion damage. Casting your Charhound essentially on cooldown, same as single target. It's going to have Tyrant with Charhound, then Charhound on cooldown, Tyrant with Charhound, Charhound on cooldown, so on and so forth. And every other Tyrant has a Grimoire in it. Same as single target rotation wise there. Casting Strength essentially on cooldown, casting Guillotine essentially on cooldown. And that is, for the most part, how Demonology works in AOE. If you got a button, you basically press it unless you're syncing it with your Tyrant. And yeah, that's that. Thanks for watching, guys. Wraps it up. And hopefully, if you had any questions about Demonology in pre-patch, this video helped clarify on them for you. Like I said, if you guys want any weak words add-ons, it's on the video. Links to my Twitch and Discord down below where you can get them all for free. At the same time, before we end, like always, a huge shout out for all the support on Patreon, guys. Thank you all just a million times. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you guys are looking at supporting on Patreon, should be linked up here as well as down below in the video description. As mentioned at the start, the War Within beta spreadsheet for Warlock is indeed live on Patreon for early access if you want it. It is the tier 3 Felgar rank or higher gets that. And yeah, that is that. Oh, I also mentioned the MMO awards, which is right here on my screen at the start of the video. If you guys want to vote for me or to anybody in general, content creator wise, MMOawards.com to do that. It ends in about 2 weeks, and yeah, if you guys voted initially in the last stage, this is the final stage. So if you guys want to do that, it'd be awesome. Either way, regardless, thank you for all the support. It means legit, it means a lot to me, and I appreciate it, y'all. As far as Demo's concerned, I think it's been pretty fun. I haven't played it a crazy amount like on PTR for pre-patch because beta's been slamming, but I like how Demonology feels a crazy amount in War Within. We don't have hero talents yet, but we will get them within a month or so. And even with the overhaul, I think it flows pretty well, barring the core economy being nerfed a bit and not guaranteed through dogs. So we'll see where that goes. But if you guys like the video or want to support the channel in general, or check back for the AF and Destro guides that are coming out also the next 2 days, hit the sub button below, helps out a ton. And I'll catch you all again soon on stream. Peace.